Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be sharing my top 3 tips on how to improve your bench press strength and get to a 3-plate bench as a natural lifter. So on screen, you're watching one of my recent bench press workouts. On this day, I had a 420 tempo bench press. I was working up to a top set of 3 plates, 140 kilos, which was a PR for me on this day. So it took me years to get my bench press up to like repping 3 plates, and the best bench I've ever hit was 160 kilos or 350 pounds, I think that is. When I first started training, I failed the empty bar. I think I weighed about 60 kilos, was really weak. So it's taken years to get to this point and a lot of trial and error. Now I actually coach people to get stronger myself as well. So I'm a strength coach. I've worked with a few hundred different people, helped loads of people get to their first 3-plate bench. And a lot of my clients are getting much stronger at the bench press right now. So I wanted to make this video and give you my top 3 tips based on my coaching experience to help you improve your own bench press. So stay to the end and I'll share my top tips on how you can get stronger at the bench as well. So, in my experience, the most common reasons I see for someone's bench press not going up is 1, not benching often enough, 2, not following a good training program, and number 3, just not looking like you can bench big weights, so not having enough muscle mass to actually have a big bench. So let's start with number 1, not benching often enough. So most people, and myself included, are probably following a program like 5-3-1, 5x5, Texas Method, something like that. A program that has you benching once or maybe twice a week. And I did twice a week for years, and it got me to like the 2-plate mark, and it's okay. But I just stalled there for years and never really got any stronger. And I think a lot of people underestimate how much of a skill the bench press is and how kind of complex the technique is. It's not as simple as you might think. And you do need regular practice to get good at the bench press. So most of my lifters now bench 3 to 4 times a week, and that might seem like a lot, but not every one of those sessions need to be heavy. So for myself at the moment, I have one kind of primary heavy bench press day. I have a secondary day, which is a little bit lighter. I have a tertiary day, which is the one you're watching right now, a tempo bench press. And then I have a very light session, which is a feet up bench press or Larsen press, for sets of 7 or 8 higher reps. So if you're benching once or twice a week at the minute, try adding in a light 3rd session. So that could just be a different grip. So you could do a close grip or a wide grip. You could do like a long pause on the chest. You could do a feet up bench, something that just gets you a bit more practice. Doesn't need to be super heavy and taken to failure, but just more practice work to kind of bridge the gap between the bench presses you're doing through the week, keep you sharp and keep you getting stronger. So 3 to 4 times a week is where I would recommend. Try and scale them back a little bit so not every session is super heavy, and watch your technique improve, and then you'll see the weight on the bar quickly go up. Point number 2 is the training program you're following. So if you're not following a program at all, I would start there. Get yourself on a training program as soon as you can, because you need some kind of structure. You need something written down, because otherwise you're just guessing, right? You need to have something written down that you can assess what's working, make changes week to week, and like, are those changes working? Do you need to try something else? So get yourself on a program. I don't love 5x5, 5-3-1 and stuff like that. On screen as well, by the way, this is the top set, so 3 plates for a double here with a tempo descent. But yeah, those programs are okay if you're a beginner and you're trying to get to like the 2-plate mark. But once you're there, I wouldn't recommend a program like that. I would try and get yourself, obviously, ideally you would get a coach who can write you a training program based on your individual needs. If not, then Barbell Medicine have some good programs. PR's Performance, Steve Denovi, he has a good powerlifting program. I have a good program on my website, evidencebasedstrength.com. You can go have a look at that one, it's pretty cheap. But yeah, get yourself on a program, first things first, and a good one that has you benching like 3 to 4 times a week. Some of you might be able to get away with 2 times a week if you're naturally good at the bench press, but for most of us, just kind of average genetic lifters, you're going to need a good program that has you benching often. And point number 3 lines up nicely with me doing accessory lifts here. So I'm starting on this chest press machine. And the third thing that I see that that kind of holds people back is they don't have enough muscle mass. So they don't push their bodybuilding work nearly hard enough, and they don't gain enough muscle. They don't eat enough food and actually gain that muscle they need to get stronger on the bench. The bigger your pecs, your shoulders, your triceps are, the more likely you're going to be to bench big weights. Now, that doesn't mean the biggest people have the biggest bench presses, but gaining muscle and getting bigger is never going to hurt. It's never going to hold your bench back, and it's kind of your best opportunity for your bench press to go up. So eat enough food to gain weight. Try and get yourself in a surplus. I gain about 0.5 kilo to 1 kilo a month and try and spend most of my time in a calorie surplus. Then pick some accessory movements like you see me doing on screen to target the chest, shoulders, triceps. Push them really hard. I train them in like the 5 to 10 rep range mostly. Very close to failure, usually maybe 1 rep in reserve, possibly 2. And just try and get as strong at them as you possibly can. I notice when my chest press machine goes up, my push downs go up, the stronger I get at those movements, the more muscle I gain, the more my bench press goes up. Here I'm doing some curls as well. So I've actually been doing arms lately on my push day. So I've got some spider curls here. I'm cheating a little bit more than I should. But this was a PR set, 26 kilos for 3x8. When I'm doing these, I really try and think about keeping my elbows like up, high, and forwards. And I basically just want to train my biceps with the shoulders in different positions. So I'm training with the shoulders in a more flexed position here, and then you'll see me in a minute training them in a more extended position with incline curls. But yeah, just pushing the bodybuilding really hard. I'm trying to gain as much muscle as I can, and that's going to give me the best chance at getting close to like a 170 bench, a 180 bench. So to summarize them, 3 things that I see most commonly is 1, not benching often enough, not following a good program, and 3rd, not having enough muscle mass to bench big weights. So I would focus on benching 3 to 4 times a week, getting yourself on a good program that allows you to do that, and then gaining as much muscle mass as you can by pushing your accessories hard, eating enough to gain weight. Don't just get stuck at maintenance, kind of spinning your wheels. Once those are in place, then you can start looking at your bench technique and improving things there as well. So one piece of advice there, don't try and copy your favorite lifter's bench press technique because they're probably built a lot differently to you. They might have different genetics. Try and figure out a technique that works for yourself. Study the basics of the bench press, apply that to yourself and experiment to see what feels best. And then hopefully putting all those tips together, that will get you up to a bench PR over the next few months and hopefully into 2025. Last exercise of the day here, you can see me pushing some incline curls. So again, I've got 3 sets of 8 here, really focusing on keeping my shoulders and elbows pinned back throughout and getting a deep stretch on the biceps at the bottom. Really been pushing this stuff hard. It's been my main focus lately, is just getting super strong at the bodybuilding stuff. I think I started at like 8 kilos on these incline curls and now I'm up to the 20s. Pretty good form on these, I think, and pushing them quite hard. And that was the whole session. So hopefully you took something useful from this video, and hopefully you can learn from my mistakes and not waste a bunch of time getting stuck at like a 90 kilos or 100 kilos bench press. Put some of these tips into practice, get yourself on a good program, and hopefully 2025 will be the year that you finally hit that 3-plate bench. Yeah, that's it for the video. I'll be coming out again next Sunday with a new video. If you have any questions on the bench press, any comments, post them down below, and I'll catch you next week.